live now.
All right, I'll send out the post.
The good. The bad. The ugly. The blue. The gray. The Civil War. The answers. The showdown. The reason. The goal.
My favorite movie of all time is The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. Why? Because it's the greatest achievement in the history of cinema.
Is The Good, Bad and the Ugly still your favorite movie by anybody else?
Oh yeah, no, The Good and the Bad.
It really still is.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I really do think, and when I love the whole canvas that movie takes place on. I love the performances and how that story is told over the course of time. But until that whole long story, and then they get to that bull ring, you know, with that shootout and that music and that sequence. I really think that is the best moment in the history of cinema. I really can't imagine anybody ever topping it. You know, at the end of the day, I think the one artist that I think is the most influential to me as in my work has got to be Sergio Leone. That kind of half-assed operatic quality that he brought, and the way the music takes over and kind of set pieces, directing via set piece a lot of times. I think he's the filmmaker that you can spot the most in my work.
And by the way, that's another thing Sergio Leone brought to Westerns. Western heroes weren't sexy. before Leone. Sometimes the bad guys, you know, the anti-heroes. Kirk Douglas and Doc Holliday in Gunfight at the OK Corral. A few examples. But if you remember, if you think about it, the Western heroes in the American Westerns, it was always about them being tough and always about them being about the rule of law. Sergio Leone changed that as well.
And Sergio Leone, the director of A Fistful of Dollars, hadn't particularly wanted Clint Eastwood. Not to begin with, at any rate. He wanted another actor.
James Coburn.
I really wanted James Coburn, but he was too expensive.
Dico James Coburn che non ho potuto avere.
The Italian cinema is very poor.
Erano talmente poveri che non si potevano permettere.
We got Clint for $15,000. Coburn wanted $25,000.
Ma io non ho visto un carattere
I
in
didn't see
Rawhide.
any character in Rawhide, only a physical figure.
Solamente una figura fisica. E la cosa che
What struck me most about Clint was his indolent way of
la
moving.
indolenza nel muoversi.
It seemed to me
Clint
Clint
secondo
closely
me
resembled a cat.
assomiglia molto da vicino a un gatto. Che il più grande scrittore western è stato e sarà sempre Omero.
The greatest scriptwriter of westerns was Homer. The archetypes of yesterday's cowboys were Achilles, Ajax, Agamemnon, and Hector.
Achille, Aiace, Agamennone, Ettore.
My idea was to bring back the Italian commedia dell'arte.
Il genere alla commedia dell'arte italiana. Io penso che la caratteristica dei miei film sia
My
quella
films are basically silent
che
films.
sono dei film muti.
The dialogue just adds some
Il
wit.
dialogo ha solamente un valore e ha un senso aforistico. Nei miei film scoppiano
My
sempre
bridges
bombe.
tend to blow up.
Ho visto un western,
I saw High Plains Drift and I didn't like it much.
diretto da lui, che non mi è piaciuto affatto.
Let's talk about your role as Tuco in The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I know the director.
Anyway, I said, so put cotton in the horse's ears. No.
No.
Clint shoots, the guy goes, the rope splits, and the horse says, I'm not making movies anymore. And he takes off with me on it, with my knees holding and
Could
controlling.
have broke your neck.
Could.
So legend has it that after that scene, this near disaster, that Leone's response was, shoot the scene again.
He always wanted me to do it over. Oh, no, on the train, there's a train where I jump off with the man who's taking me to prison, and we're handcuffed. I said, I have to pee. He said, he opened the thing, we're standing in the doorway, and the train is going very slow, but down below are mattresses and boxes and all. And just as the man, I said, don't look while I'm peeing. See? So he turned his head away and I jumped. And I pulled him with me and I killed him. I put his body, or dummy, on the tracks. And Leone says, now the train is coming to you. It's coming very slow. The camera's on you this way, but then I want you to turn your head this way as though you don't want to look as the train is coming.
Sure.
And the camera's on this side now, showing that it's me and not a stuntman. Right?
Yeah.
So I do the thing, I turn my head this way, and as the last car goes by, out of each door of the train was an iron wedge where you could step off and step on.
Yeah.
And if I had raised my head 4 inches, I'd have been decapitated. So I couldn't, I said to him, I'm not doing it again. Well, he said, we have to do it again, Eli. We missed the focus. And I said, you're not going to, I said, dig the hole deeper. They dug the hole deeper. The train went by. I did this. The train passed me. And the cameraman said I couldn't see Eli. He was down very sore. I said, you're never going to see
You're
me.
never going to see me again. You better use the first take.
And he had to.
And he did.
I think there's only one trilogy that completely and utterly works to the Nth Degree, Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
That's a trilogy?
Yeah, so yeah. Well,
So they're all the same character.
Yeah.
It's the Man with No Name.
Man with No Name, yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
It's a one director vision, Sergio Leone, through all three movies.
So that's the spaghetti westerns.
Yes. The thing about it is, it does what no other trilogy has ever been quite able to do. The first movie is terrific, but the second movie is so great and takes the whole idea, For a Few Dollars More, is so great and takes the whole idea to such a bigger canvas that it obliterates the first one. And then the third one, Good and the Bad and the Ugly, does the same thing to the second one. And that's kind of what never happens. You'll see this big jump from the first to the second, and they don't really land the third one.
Toronto, Cannes, Berlin, and Sundance, everybody chat about good movies, chat about good movies, chat about good movies, good movies, good movies. Yo, 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 yo! What is up, everybody? Hello. I actually wrote myself out intro lines this time because I've gotten really bad about this. And this is also part of the intro, is being awkward about it. Hello, and welcome to the Good Movie Chat About. I'm Lord Gugu, also known as Bobby, and we're here to chat about some good movies. Now, okay, before I bring on our very special guest that you're all here to see, I did just want to get through some business. So today begins a new era of Gugu streaming. I'm going to actually... trying to get subscriptions if you're interested. No pressure, but I got a whole slate of emotes I'm really excited about. We have the My Dinner with Andre. There's a Andre and a Wally. Of course, we know the proper usages of those emotes is when someone's being very practical and thinking about, their material concerns. You post Wally. When somebody is just gone off to some crazy shit, that's when you post Andre. Yeah. And I've been streaming 1 day a week for like the past couple months. I'm going to try to ramp up to 3 days a week. I'm going to be doing a hangout stream tomorrow. So I'm going to start with 2 in the weekend, and then we put 1 in the middle of the week at some point. So if over the course of this stream you feel, compelled or you want to subscribe, feel free. Please do. No pressure, as I say. I know it's not the best economic time to just be throwing out $6 willy-nilly. So I get it. But yeah, just come hang out in those other streams. At least that would be fun. We'd love to have you. And there are sound alerts. This is partially to help make Stefan feel comfortable, so that there's crazy sound alerts. There's at least the option for it. They're nowhere near as annoying as the Go Off Kings, but if you want to fire those off, you can. Sorry, I'm doing stuff because I'm also trying to... Okay, Stefan, I'm streaming to you what the stream looks like, my projector output.
Oh, perfect.
And now, let me do the actual business and welcome on my guest from the Go Off Kings and from the Blocked Party podcast. We have, you know him and you love him, Stefan Heck. Hello, Stefan.
Hello, Bobby. Hello, everyone. I noticed you briefly popped in during the intro.
Yes.
Was that because of studio mode?
It absolutely was. Yeah, I was trying to exit studio mode.
Yeah.
And I had the other screen up as I was checking.
It happens. Oh, you're using OBS, I guess?
Streamlabs, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
the desktop.
I mean, they all suck ass. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been kind of like getting back into it. I was streaming I did my musical theater stream. My musical theater is good actually stream for like a year and a half or so, and that was great. And then I kind of took some time off because I started getting theater work that made it hard to do streams. And now that I'm doing streams again.
Hell yeah. I may be a little quiet just because I know whenever I'm on Discord, I don't know what it is.
Here, I can boost you. I know how to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like literally the only video is fine. Everything else is fine. Discord, for whatever reason, like muffles my mic, and I've looked through the settings like 100 times, and I cannot figure out what it is. But
hey, listen, we gotta have like sound issues right off of the top.
We do.
Like, these are the things that we need.
And it makes me feel at home.
Yes,
so
that's right. We're just trying to make Stefan comfortable here. Yeah. Oh wait, you know what? My camera's a bit high. I need to adjust it. Sorry.
By the way, was Tarantino, was he smoking? Was that like a huge pipe? That he
Yeah,
was
that
smoking?
wasn't. It was a huge pipe that looked like a cereal bowl. That's correct.
I thought
yeah.
so. I thought at first, when I first saw it, I thought he was holding like a cup of coffee or something, and then when it turned and you could see, it's like this giant pipe.
Yeah, I know it's the dumbest
really
looking
good.
huge pipe ever. There's like, I will never ever watch a whole Club Random, but anytime I see a short of it, a clip, if I know it's going to be less than a minute, I have to watch it. It doesn't matter how like loathsome the person is. I mean, sometimes I'm like, okay, I've seen enough of like this person for now, but it's just such a great little window into the abyss. So anyway, I tilted my camera down. I think I look better now. I can see my whole shirt. It's good.
Great shirt.
Yes.
Fantastic shirt.
All right, so Stefan, let's get into movie talk before we get into the headline movie itself. You know, because you're a guy, you're always talking about movies. You're a big movie fan. Okay, now it's actually too low. So do you have? But I'm wondering, do you have like a favorite director? Would you say?
You know, I was thinking about this recently. I don't know. I really think it might be Steven Soderbergh. Because I feel like I haven't seen all of his movies, but I've enjoyed every single one of his movies that I've seen. And I like that he does so many different types of movies also.
Yeah. No, I always really, really appreciate that he's just going to like try some shit. Recently, I saw Black Bag recently, and that was a great time. Yeah,
that's the one I want. Yeah, I want to go see that. I was looking for something to go see in theaters, and I was like, well, this sounds pretty interesting.
And he has a horror movie out now too, as well, The Presence, which I haven't seen either.
Yeah, I've heard that's quite good. I watched Logan Lucky relatively recently.
I haven't seen that one, but I need to.
It's really funny. It's really, really good. And then, like, obviously, you know, like Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah, the
like,
Ocean's movies.
Have
you seen Behind the Candelabra or Beyond the Candelabra?
Is that the one with Michael Douglas as
as Liberace?
I have not seen, and Matt Damon as his
it's
lover?
Actually, so it's genuinely one of Steven Soderbergh's best movies, I would say.
Okay.
And Michael Douglas is actually incredible. And what's just so funny is that that was like 2012 or something, like whenever that was. So that was kind of a long time ago. And even then, like he wanted it to be a theatrical released movie, but like it became an HBO movie because like they're like, well, it's Liberace. It's not like Elvis or something. Like,
right.
We don't think we can sell that.
Speaking of which, I do love the Elvis movie.
Yes, I want to talk to you about Elvis as well because you always bring it up on Go Off Gigs, and Elvis is one of my favorite movies of the past few years.
It's
really
so
love
interesting. Yeah, like I think I've only seen it once, but I kind of want to watch it again because I think I've seen you post about it where. And maybe it'll be the same thing for me, but you went into it sort of ironically appreciating it, and then you genuinely really do like it now.
Yeah, that was exactly it.
I could see that maybe happening to me as well because like there's so many interesting choices in it, and like the thing I always bring up is that there's like multiple scenes where Elvis walks into a room where there's a TV playing, and it's like the most important news story of the decade.
Well, and then Elvis is like, "Yeah, how am I going to save the world now?" Or
it's
how am
so
I?
Funny.
Well, but sometimes it's like, yeah, there's the one where he's like, "I'm going to solve racism with my Christmas special," but then
right,
because
that's after MLK gets killed. But then he also reacts to JFK getting killed, I think.
Well, and then later there's like. When it's like in the 70s and he's like more paranoid, then he's not doing it. And I think that's kind of what's interesting about it. Like to me, that movie, you know, it's like the obvious thing of like walk hard, played straight. Like, but then I was like, is it played straight though? Because it is so over the top. And I'm not a huge Boz guy. Like, I don't really love Boz that much outside of the movie. Like, I mean, I like Romeo and Juliet okay and some stuff in Moulin Rouge or whatever, but like, and Strictly Ballroom, his first movie is actually really great. But like, there's something about how like it's using the cliche. Like you don't get that cliche without being aware of it, and it's like And when you hear hear interviews with him and stuff, he talks about that he wanted to tell the story of America through the story of Elvis, which I also think is kind of interesting because it starts off as like this, at least the American popular culture from the 50s through the 70s as told through Elvis. And you can kind of see it because it's like, first like the racial kind of clashes and stuff and all that, and then going into like the 60s and idealism and stuff of that era, and then into like the paranoia of the 70s and sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a cool movie. I love it. I mean, and also it's just like fun. Like the
It's
sequence
really fun.
where he makes all the women horny is incredible.
It is, yeah. And I like what you said about how it's like very aware of how cliched it is, which almost gives it the excuse that it's like it's okay that it was cliched because
Yeah, I mean, it can't not
knows
be aware.
No. I mean, and it's just, yeah, I do want to watch it again. I mean, I really want JF to watch it.
Yeah,
because...
I think he's just, I mean, I feel like he would just hate it. But we have JF on next week. I do want to kind of hype that as well.
Yeah. What is he watching next week?
I gave him, actually, this is good. I want to talk about all the choices too, because we'll eventually talk about the other choices that I threw your way as well. So for JF, I threw, the one that I actually wanted him to pick, and he didn't pick, and I put it first, was and I understand, was Seven Samurai. That's a 3.5-hour movie. It does have an intermission in it, so I sold it to him as you could watch it Greg style. You can watch the first hour and 40 minutes or whatever, and then watch it the rest another day or whatever. Also, it's just like I said, it's a great adventure film. Everybody should see that. Have you seen Seven Samurai, Stefan?
I actually haven't, and I
mean, I
would like to see it.
Banging the drum for this very, very lauded movie.
Yeah,
not underrated, not overrated, just properly rated as a classic. Everybody should see. And like to me, like it's like Lord of the Rings style, like adventure fun. Like I love Seven Samurai.
That's the one that like really obviously inspired Star Wars: A New Hope, right? Or was that? Or no, that was the Fortress one, right?
Yeah, Hidden Fortress. Hidden Fortress is the one that really. Yeah, that's Pelk. Very good. I had the same thought of JF being like, why the fuck do I care if they eat millet or rice? Which is a big plot point of the movie is who gets to eat millet and who gets to eat rice. Because the millet is like the byproduct of rice cultivation that typically you feed to like the animals. But when there's like a shortage of food, then people have to eat it. So anyway, Seven Samurai. What was the second one? Oh, the other one I suggested was Midnight Run, which I thought would just be a really like. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, that's the one with
Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin. Yeah. Which I watched it a long time ago, but I recall really liking it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those.
Charles Grodin is so funny.
He's just hysterically funny, and it's one of those they don't make them like that kind of movies, where it's just a really great, fun action comedy that I thought there's no way anybody could have a bad time.
I feel like when they try to make movies like that now, it's like there's that Zach Galifianakis, Robert Downey Jr. one where they're like driving across the country for I forget what reason, but it's like. It just doesn't hit the same,
Yeah, no. Well, what happens, I think, is because like when you get to an action comedy, there's like a balancing act where you need to be equally kind of both. Like you need to I think probably the best one of the past 10 years or more would be a Dur Date. Thank you, my life of Quibi. Dur Date. Can we get a Dur Date going in the
Dur
chat?
Date, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Sorry. Shit, what was I talking about? I got distracted by Dur Date.
We were talking about Millet. We were talking about,
Millet.
Charles Grodin.
Oh, big action comedies. Yes. The best one that I think from the past couple decades would definitely be The Nice Guys, I would say. It's like...
Yeah, I love that movie.
Because
that's
action...
like probably a top 10 movie for me.
The action is funny. Like they make and there's a lot of planning and staging that has to go into that, and I think that a lot of times they think stuff's going to be funnier by I don't know, like having funny people or like they expect the funniness, but like you really need to like plot the shit out, and it takes
Russell
like a very
Crowe
special
and Ryan
thing.
Gosling are so good together in that, and like I'm so pissed we're probably never gonna get a sequel. Like that should be the type of movie where we get like a new one of those every 3 years.
It should be like the new Lethal Weapon. Like I would love that. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I would love a show based on, you know what I mean? Like they did the MacGruber show. That was really good. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I forgot about the MacGruber show. I just
but...
rewatched the movie because of Val Kilmer passing away. I watched MacGruber again. R.I.P. Val Kilmer. I guess that happened since our last episode. R.I.P. Val. very much.
MacGruber probably also top 10 for me. That movie is just so
That's a
fucking
very
funny.
very just great. Like as you're watching it, every sequence you're like, oh yes, this one, and it's like then the immediately next one you're like, oh right, now he's gonna get all the gang together, and it's gonna be really great.
The the montage followed by him blowing up the car with all of
and him
his,
going,
his
oh you
friends
guys
in it.
okay?
Oh my god, it hits every single time.
So what, besides, because I don't know when you watched Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but what was the last movie you watched, if not Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Oh, I'm trying to think here. You know what? Let me just check, because I did watch it, like I said, on producer Dan's Plex. So the last movie I would have watched on there, I started watching Gangs of London again, which is a TV show, but that's the Gareth Evans show.
I don't know that.
It's Gareth Evans, who did like The Raid. And
yeah, sure.
So it's
Gareth Evans,
it's his it's his TV show. Season 3 is out. It's it's like really kind of corny, but it's his level of action, which is great. And there's also that the new Tom Hardy Gareth Evans movie coming out in like 2 weeks, which I'm really really excited for. But let me just see. Havoc, I think, is what it's called. And that looks really good. Let me check my. Sorry, I'm just.
It's
loading it.
Here's what I struggle with is that as of a few years ago, I decided to just like become like totally ridiculously movie pilled. Like I wasn't always I wasn't always watching every movie necessarily like every day, but I just enjoyed it so much that I just kept doing it. Just like, and I found that as I've done that, I've wanted to watch TV series less. Although I did watch one this past week. I watched all in one day all of Common Side Effects. Great show.
Oh, I've heard that's really good. I need to watch that. I've been very Pit pilled recently.
I've heard
watching
the Pit.
a lot of the Pit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The last thing I watched was Lupin the Third, the First.
The one that
CGI.
Miyazaki did? Oh no, the CGI one.
The CGI one from like 2019, I think.
Cool.
It was really good.
Oh,
it reminded me. It was like a better version of the Tintin CGI movie, which I like.
And it was like Japanese studio, like a Japanese film.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very, very, very funny.
I mean, that's
really good animation.
So that's the other thing is that, and then as I've been like movie spiraling or whatever, that the place where I want to stay the most is Japan. Like I love Japanese cinema. Like that's why I was like, hey JF, you want to watch Seven Samurai? And he was like, Michael. Oh, and then I didn't tell you what he picked. JF ended up picking Michael Clayton, which I sold as Stefan has been annoying you to watch this, and he can stop annoying you.
I love Michael Clayton. Yeah.
I mean, I do too.
I could see JF.
I think he's gonna like it.
I think he'll enjoy it. Yeah.
I mean, people were sort of doubting this to me in the Discord, and I said, JF really liked Conclave. I don't see why he wouldn't like Michael Clayton. Like he likes a tense, like well plotted drama. I don't understand why he wouldn't.
That's a good point. I think he'll like it. I mean, it's how could you not like that movie?
It is
so good.
It's so good. It's so good. Well, that's awesome. Okay, now before we get into our movie chat, there was one thing I wanted to do, where you're not on Letterboxd yet. You should actually get on there. I think.
I know. I think I maybe made an account a long time ago, and I've just never used it. But I would. I know. Like Ricky Peacock is on there. And I know who we're about to look at here too, so I really should get on there.
It's like for me, it's not even necessarily the social thing, though I like that, especially as I've gotten connected with more people on there. I think that's pretty cool. Although there is definitely like an annoying side of that, of the people that are like trying to be popular on Letterboxd and like writing really stupid meme reviews that kind of suck, unless I'm doing them, in which case they're funny.
The only funny like meme review I've seen on there, and I think it's the one that inspired everyone to try to do it, is the one about Joker, where it's like, this happened to my friend's Steve or something.
One of my favorite reviews on there is from our friend Bingen. Bingen Games. Hilda did a really funny review of The Greatest Showman, one of my most hated movies of all time, and she wrote something to the effect of sanding down your brain with a nail file simulator 2020 is really good at 5 stars.
I feel like JF has seen that multiple times,
That's a
I'm
kids
pretty
need
sure,
to watch it movie. Yeah.
I think his at least one of his kids really liked it.
That makes sense.
And I remember him having to watch it a bunch.
I mean,
and
it's
just
a
getting
bunch
really
of
pissed
like
off.
it's a bunch of like teen Disney level pop songs, like a string of music videos with no real plot. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're gonna look at the letterbox of a very special guy here. This is producer Dan's letterbox.
Okay.
Let's look through producer Dan's letterbox. So we see here, I'm not a big movie guy, and I generally have pretty horrible tastes. His favorite films are CKY, CKY2K, CKY3, and CKY4.
Okay, that tracks. Yeah. That makes sense.
Recent reviews. The Mask, 4 stars. Cameron Diaz, wow.
Oh my god.
Wait, sorry. Popular reviews. Money Shot, the Pornhub story. I'm never jacking off again. 1.5 stars.
When did he post that review?
That is from the 15th of March, 2023. That one.
Okay. Well, so he lied about that. For sure.
For sure. Fact check. This is his recent activity. Oh wait, I actually have his diary pulled up. Okay, this is great. A rewatch of House, 5 stars. I mean,
okay,
this will get.
The movie House. Okay, not
no,
the
TV show House.
Okay, yeah.
Great movie. I also he didn't like he gave it a like 3 stars. Climax. I really liked Climax. Recently watched that as well. Yeah, The Mask. Oh, let's see his Anora Best Picture winner. Anora. Let's see what producer Dan had to say. Wait, hated this. 4 stars.
Okay, Dan seems worth a follow on Letterboxd.
Oh yeah,
certainly.
Dan, also another reason that I really appreciate. I've been following Dan for a while, but oh yeah, here it is. He's a 5-star on Flow. I gave my Bobskers for the best movies of last year, and Flow was my Best Picture winner. Have you seen?
I need to see that. I was worried.
You need to see it.
I need to confirm whether or not the cat dies.
The cat does not
watch it. Okay, then I can watch it. That was because Irene and I were both like,
it will stress you out. It will stress you out because the cat is so well rendered. Like, they do such a good job of capturing all the animal behaviors, especially the cat, and like telling all the story and the character information through just animal noises and stuff. Right. And they're in peril, so it's stressful, but it's gonna be okay. And it's a great watch. It's a great watch.
Okay, that's good to know.
So that was my favorite film of last year, so I really like Dan giving that 5 stars. So yeah, I did want to check in on Dan's letterbox. I think that's mostly all I want to say. Before we go, but I did want to, because I wanted to talk hockey briefly. I mean, yes. I've had a great hockey week. I'm a Capitals fan. It's one of the biggest weeks of the franchise. Our guy Ovi broke the all-time goals record. So now he's forever the top NHL goal scorer. Not forever until it's broken.
Caught. I mean, the only player who's kind of close to being on pace is Austin Matthews. But he would still need to keep this up until he was 40. So
yeah, because that's the other thing is it's a longevity thing and a durability thing, and I think that's really the biggest thing Ovi had going for him is that he doesn't really get injured, except for this season.
Yeah,
he
got injured this season
leg.
and he was fine. He came back after a month.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I really want to see him stick around until he gets 1,000 goals.
Yeah,
but I do feel like he's just going to go to the KHL after next year probably. And
I think he's because his contract I believe is through next year, and I believe he's even said that he doesn't want to go beyond that. I think is so.
Yeah.
So, which is great. I mean, listen, he's given us so many years of his life. I love that guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to get 900 goals for sure, which is awesome. So
the thing about hockey though, Stefan, is that there aren't that many hockey movies really. I mean, obviously Slapshot was the big, and that one is good. Slapshot's
I like
good.
Slapshot. There's Goon as well.
Right, Goon is good. Fun. Goon 2 is not good.
I didn't see the second one.
I actually haven't either. I've heard it. Yeah. That was all I needed to know.
Do you mind if I just quickly go let Kiki out of the bedroom?
Oh, absolutely. Actually,
I can hear her scratching.
If you want, can we briefly introduce our cats actually to each other? Do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go get her right now.
Okay, cool. I'll go get mine. He's upset. This is Buster. Hey, say hi to the people, Buster. Look, it's Kiki. Buster, meet Kiki. Say hi.
There you go.
Look.
Hello, Buster.
All right. He's really mad. Uh-oh. Oh, no. A little caught in my headphones. All right. I'll crack the door for you a bit. Can we get out? Is he going to get out, or is he going to go back to his bed? We'll see. All right. All right. That was a very good intermission.
That was very nice.
Yeah. All right, and I think that's hockey movies is really it. I mean, I didn't have much else to say besides I wish there was like a classic hockey movie the way there are baseball or basketball movies.
I remember liking Miracle. Let me look up hockey movies. Yeah, Goon was good. Slapshot was good. Miracle I thought was pretty good. I don't think I've seen Mystery Alaska, the one where the New York Rangers go up.
Oh, I think that one's Alaska. Not good.
Yeah, I feel like that one's not that good.
Yeah, the Mighty Ducks movies, of course. D2 yeah. I do remember enjoying, and that did give us a very young Kenan Thompson as well. No,
yeah, the Mighty Ducks were fun. They were fun because they were hockey movies made by people who don't know anything about hockey.
Right.
So they're like, well, who's the best hockey nation in the world? Well, obviously it's Iceland because it has ice in the name.
Yeah. Right.
And then the other one that's technically a hockey movie, I think is The Love Guru, but the less said about that, the better.
Exactly. It's like it being hockey is just like such a weird thing about it. It doesn't help that movie. I don't know. Like, no. It just makes the movie worse somehow that it's hockey.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on to our main feature presentation, I do have to ask about coming attractions. Are there any upcoming either in the theaters or just movies you want to get around to watching that you have like on the horizon that you're looking forward to seeing? I guess you said that Tom Hardy
I mentioned Havoc looks like it could be a lot of fun potentially because it's Tom Hardy and Gareth Evans. Honestly, it's the new Mission Impossible. That's the big one. I cannot wait for that.
I was a little let down by the last one. I think it was a little too long, and there were some sequences in it that I thought, well, like the one where he's like having to solve a series of riddles. That really pissed me off. Even though
the pacing was a little off. I agree. Yeah. It felt a little too long. I mean, it's tough to follow Fallout, which is like the perfect movie, but it was still a lot of fun. It's still really good.
My favorite is Rogue Nation, actually, of them all, because
Rogue Nation is really good. Also,
my favorite is my favorite sequence in the whole series is the opera house, like the skydiving into it and then meeting Ilsa and then the whole fucking I love that so much. All right. Well, Mission Impossible. I think that's the big one as well, at least in terms of big tentpole movies that are coming. There's probably others I can think of. They announced the Cannes lineup this week. For Cannes. Actually, it's pretty good. It's got like the new Wes Anderson.
That looks good.
Yeah, that does look good. I saw the trailer
for that. That looks good.
There's a lot of buzzy. Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut starring June Squibb.
Okay. I did see. I saw her in what was the movie?
Oh, from last year. Thelma. I loved Thelma.
That was really good. That was a very cute movie.
It was a cute movie. It was great. I loved Richard Roundtree Shaft as her friend in that.
Yes.
It was a great movie. So I think there's some exciting like a lot of. Oh, and Ari Aster's new movie is going to be at Cannes as well.
Okay.
So there's some good like prestige stuff and some good not as much tentpole stuff actually now that I think about it. But let's move on to our feature presentation, Stefan. So now we'll talk about the choices that I gave you. Actually, let me look.
Yes.
Let me look at our message here. Okay. So the first one again, common theme. The first suggestion is a Japanese film, always. So like, you want to know? And that is Tampopo.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm excited that will be talked about on this show soon. Actually, I'm in talks with, I'll just say, a member of the Goo Crew to be on in maybe like a month or more.
Okay.
It's trying to get that in. That I think would be a great guest for this, because it's a movie that's like a comedy and a Western about wanting to become the best ramen chef, and just the idea of being like it's such a, I mean, and also Itami is a really fun director, the guy, and it's just a great comedy. If you've never seen Tampopo, that's a great one. I think you and Irene would have a great time with that, because it's, but don't eat it don't eat it, don't eat the movie. Don't watch don't watch the movie if you're gonna be at all hungry. Get ramen ahead of time so that you can eat it while watching it, because that's a big problem. Oh, and then I also gave you the suggestions of Psycho, because you're a little Norman Bates coded, no offense.
Thank you.
Just in your persona, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's true. Yeah.
And then Paris, Texas, which it's like, I mean, I love Paris, Texas, but I don't know if that would have been the most fun. I think you picked the right choice where you went with.
Yeah. Out of those ones, I was most excited to see this, and I loved it. It was it's just such a cool movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I know. So this was another one that when I did my whole movie, like becoming movie pilled, that I watched early on in that, because I was just trying to fill blind spots of especially like genres that I hadn't gone to, and Western was like a huge blind spot. And actually, I think one of the first Westerns that I watched that year when I was watching all these movies was Unforgiven, the 1991 or so Clint Eastwood movie, which is a great Western, Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman. And then it made me want to, okay, let me see some of the classics. And I think I probably started with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great ride. Like, it's
incredible.
Time.
Like, I mean, I had never seen it. I like knew of it from just like the amount of times it was like referenced or parodies in other media properties, and like the music obviously too.
Yeah, the soundtrack, Spring Break My Heart. Yep.
Yeah, hearing the music in like the trio, like at the end, like the standoff.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the score too.
It's so good, but then the first thought in my head is like, oh, this is they use this in the Jackass, the movie with the bull run. Before the bulls start charging through like the set and like killing everyone. So like, yeah, I mean, just, and then obviously just like the opening music as well is like so iconic.
Yeah. So last year hey, thanks for the follow. Hey, Wilk, thank you. Last year I did a musical that was like a Western funny, like it was like a cowboy musical that was a comedy. And we did like I remember on our first meeting we like went around the table with all the cast and people in there, and then there's like, what do you think of anything of like the Old West or whatever, people, and like 4 or 5 different people were like, I think of that like ooh, wah, wah, wah. But nobody knew. Like nobody was like, I think of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly music. They knew that musical sting. They didn't know what it was from. And so then it got around to me, and I was like, well, it's actually from The Bad and the Ugly. So if you want to watch that. But the whole score is like amazing. Like, yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Like that is.
It's so good. It's so like, it feels so, like, it does feel kind of like weirdly like modern as well. Like it's a really, the more you listen to it, it's like, this sounds kind of weird. But in like a really interesting way. And I think you just heard it so many times, again, through like parodies and whatever and references. And then to hear it in like the actual thing it's like meant to be in is really cool. And like the opening titles look so great as well. It's a very like stylish movie.
Yeah, so something that and we don't go, like, just so you know, and on this show, we don't go beat by beat through the plot. We just talk about the whole movie, like, as we experienced it. So there's no need to wait to go to any topic or anything. That in that opening, they do something I love is that they tell you who's the good, who's the bad, who's the ugly.
Yes,
they don't let you try to figure it out. They tell you, but they always put it the ugly, the bad, and the good. Which I don't know, might be an Italian thing. Which is another. So I do want to start there. So this is from the famous spaghetti westerns, which is the term for Western movies typically starting in the 60s and into the 70s, that are made in Italy. Sergio Leone was like the best, and he really kind of created the form in a big way through this trilogy of movies that he made with Clint Eastwood. And then this is the third, as we heard Quentin tell us again and again in the opening. This is the third after A Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More. And Clint Eastwood's character is meant to be the same character through all of those movies, and his known as the man with no name. Although in this movie they call him Blondie.
Right. Yeah. Because I looked at, I guess I didn't realize at the time that this was part of a trilogy. And I looked it up on Wikipedia after, and then you just see that his name does kind of change throughout.
Yeah,
like it's Joe, I think, in the first one.
Well, like they're not like completely connected. Like you don't need to go in any sort of order or anything. Like they are.
He just basically plays the same character.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. And I mean, and I think it's just like he honed this sort of persona as they kind of like redefined. Yeah, and Lee Van Cleef is in. For A Few Dollars More, the second in the trilogy, but that is definitely a different character, because in that movie he's a good guy. He's aligned with Clint Eastwood.
Right. He's my favorite part of this movie.
He's amazing.
He's such a good villain. He's so terrifying.
Yeah.
And just like evil as well. I loved it.
And that's why I love I love the labeling of good, bad, ugly. Is you spend the whole movie. I liked how in that little interview with Sergio Leone, he's like, I'm basically a silent movie director, because it does like feel like that at times. Like they're like just long, drawn out, like tense, like stares and cuts back and forth. Like I mean, this GIF that's right here of like that's famous of just them in the final standoff, just like, and so like. As you're sitting there and you see just kind of like experience it, you hear the music, you're with the vibe, and I find myself, at least this most recent watch, unpacking, okay, why is Clint Eastwood good? Why is Lee Van Cleef bad? And why is Eli Wallach ugly? Like, I don't disagree with those distinctions, but what is it that makes them, and how do those things like interact with each other is, I think, like one of the really cool things about the movie.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's I don't know. I mean, just like everything about it just looked so good. Like I said, I was watching on Dan's Plex. He had like the 4K version, and just like watching on the TV, like it just looks so good. And it makes me so pissed off at what a lot of movies just look like nowadays. How bad they like.
So this is the thing that
Irene
happens.
came over and saw it, right, and she was like. It just looked like she compared it to just like the average Marvel movie or something. How fake that looks, and this just looks like real, you know?
Yeah, I mean this is a problem I find I struggle with going back, it especially because, and this is what this show is going to be about in theory. I'm still figuring it out. But like we want to talk about the great classic movies, like what makes them great, and like what you find is the output of Hollywood right now is kind of like, let's say, stagnating to be polite, I guess. That there's some stuff that's great, but like mostly, and then it's harder to make movies, so what gets made is just like there's less being made in general, so it's just like a bad situation all around, as as Pete might say. And like so but what you find is that there is like just this endless collection of great films and they're, as you go through the different eras and different countries and different genres, you become like a little more acquainted with what makes each of those great and stuff like that. And when you go back 50, 40 even years, like you see the difference of people that were like movies that were made to be good movies, like that were made to like actually be art, from the director on down, and even the producers. Like you had producers that really wanted to make good movies, like they weren't as like in every instance concerned with how is it going to perform necessarily. Like
Dan O'Sullivan had a really good thread about that on Blue Sky. About how they were all like psycho pieces of shit and evil and bad people, but they did actually want to make movies, which is like the difference between
now when they're psycho pieces of shit that just
and
wanna,
they hate movies and don't care.
They just want to fill the
it's
balance
like, well,
sheet.
I guess one of those is slightly better.
Can we have the
than
movie
other.
be fully AI generated? How little creative people can we have involved? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A cool thing that actually we should talk about with the spaghetti westerns, because these are made in Italy, is that it has this filming style that actually Quentin Tarantino, of course, just loves spaghetti westerns with Sergio Leone, and so he made it a huge plot point of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Actually, if you recall.
Oh, all the fake spaghetti westerns in that are so funny.
I mean, all the fake movies. The what is it? The things of McCloskey, the whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. It's. I mean, obviously he's like a love letter to film in that movie. And when Leonardo DiCaprio's character goes to Italy, he talks about being frustrated because he never knew what any of his co-stars were saying. And this is a true thing of how they film these movies.
I was wondering about that because
people
you can
spoke
see
their
that
native languages.
Yeah, it's like dubbed in for anyone who's like not one of the main characters.
And it's dubbed for them too. Like you'll notice, because I think that some of them are better at dubbing themselves than others. Like I think maybe Lee Van Cleef is a little bit better than Eli Wallach at times, or maybe vice versa. I can't remember. But like that, they have to dub it all. And this is actually dubbing. I'm really fascinated by, because I also really love Hong Kong classic. Kung Fu movies of the Shaw Brothers and stuff, and those are also all dubbed as well. And like the thing about it is that in the case of those movies, you know, they're made in Hong Kong where like native speakers are Cantonese, but they want to actually, you know, appeal to also all the cities of China and stuff. So they're always going to do a Cantonese and a Mandarin, and then they obviously had the famous sort of British dub people or whatever that would do it for the English, and that. But like to me, I love to I like to watch it in native, you know, usually Cantonese.
As often as possible.
Right, but sometimes I'll throw on the dub because, you know, sometimes you're watching the fucking crippled Avengers. Who cares? Like, which is a great movie, but and also my biggest thing for it is I'm like, this is how the RZA first saw these movies. Am I better than the RZA? He watched them with the dubbing. So anyway, but I also like, and again, I love musicals, movie musicals, and that's something that I miss, is that when they make these modern movie musicals, I didn't need Jeff Goldblum to sing for himself. Have like fucking Brian Darcy James, like somebody like a Broadway singer, dub him in Wicked, you know, like it like. Because that used to just be common. That would just be like these classic French musicals by Jacques Demy, Umbrellas of Cherbourg and stuff. Like have Catherine Deneuve, like it made her a star, and she's not. And like they're completely. Umbrellas of Cherbourg is completely sung through, and she's dubbed the whole time, and she's great. But like it was like a whole thing that we've just kind of. Now, I don't know if people see it as cheap or something, but we've gotten away from wanting to dub ever.
Yeah. I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou recently, and most of the singing was done by someone else, except for...
I think Tim Blake Nelson might have done his own.
Yeah,
maybe?
he does at least one of his own songs, I think. But I mean, that was great, and they do it in such a way that you can't really tell.
Right.
Because it's the same language, right? So that's a little different, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I think even with the dubbing, it doesn't take away from it at all.
No.
And it's because it's just such an interesting movie, and the performances are really good, even if they're speaking. It's just so interesting to think about, like. One guy is speaking Italian, one guy speaking English.
Right.
But the acting is still so good.
Yeah, like the sequence where they because they keep bumping into different sides of the Civil War throughout the movie.
Yes.
It's a really great running theme through the movie.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the Civil War got all the way to like New Mexico.
Yeah, it was. So they're like all the way on the western front of the most western front of the Civil War, sort of near the border of Mexico, even kind of, I think, around Texas, and when they get in with the Union squadron, and that like really great performance by the Union general, who's kind of like given up and is like, you know, like, fuck all this, like, I just want this bridge to get blown up or whatever. That is an Italian actor. He was, you know, speaking all Italian, and I think you can kind of tell from the dubbing, like you said, when it doesn't really match up. But it's fine. Like, it's because
it doesn't take away from it at all.
that's how they're comfortable delivering the lines. Like, that's so you buy it, and it's like it's just like a 1 second adjustment of like, they're dubbed. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
At first, you notice it at first, and then it just kind of slides off, and you're just like in the movie.
I mean, there's definitely, you can do bad dubbing though. Like, you can do like a voice that doesn't match at all and it's really distracting or things like that.
I think that was part of it, is that the voices matched, right? That's a good point, that it can,
or sometimes
if the voice doesn't match, it'll distract you.
And there's a bit of this, but sometimes you can like recognize the voice between characters, like, oh, this is the same.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just kind of part of the charm as well.
I didn't think going into this that it would be funny either, but it's really funny also. I mean, the one that I think of, and I wrote some notes, but the scene that I think of is when the Civil War veteran with no legs comes up to Angel Eyes. And then,
which is obviously a guy with no legs in Italy, like a real guy with, because they're not faking that. Like, that's always a crazy part.
It was obviously real. But then he goes into the saloon and he like headbutts the door open, and he's like, throw me down a drink. That was so funny. Just a really good,
throw me
like,
down a drink is really good. Yeah.
Or just the ongoing thing of Clint Eastwood shooting people's hats off, or like just using his gun for like everything. Like when he shoots Angel Eyes and knocks him into the grave, and then he shoots his belongings into the grave with him. That was so funny.
It's an extension of him, like, and something that is great about, like, I sort of think is the through line of the Clint character from the other movies and throughout this as well, is that he's always like playing a game. Like, he's always playing with people. Like, that's like, so the first of these movies, Fistful of Dollars, was based on / story was stolen from, and they were sued and had to eventually give credit to that it's all the Akira Kurosawa samurai film Yojimbo, which actually, here, let me drop the Akira Kurosawa emote for subscribers. There it is. And he so in that was a samurai playing these. He goes into this town where that's like completely almost like feels like a ghost town, because there are these two rival sort of gangs that are fighting, and then he plays them off of each other. Like, he pretends that he's helping each of them, but he's just benefiting himself and getting them more mad at each other. And then it backfires. And so they just like take that whole story and they put that in Fistful of Dollars. And so here he's like doing the same thing with like the scheme of turning in Tuco and then freeing Tuco, which we need to talk about Tuco. This is
that scheme too. That was another thing I wrote down. There was a very funny bit where when you first see it happen, and the guy's like listing off all the crimes that he's being punished for, and he says he's wanted in 14 counties, and then the very next scene when you see them doing it again, it's like wanted in 15 counties. Just like a little thing like that. I mean, Tuco is incredible.
Yeah. So Eli Wallach,
the interview you played with him during the intro was like so fascinating, because I didn't realize that scene on the train is like pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, no, and I actually because it was sort of a long conversation, so I started in the middle. But there's a part where the guy is supposed to be taking him to jail or whatever, and they're on the train, and he's like, I have to pee, and then he like pulls him off. They just like did that. Like, I think there were like mattresses and stuff down there, but when you watch it, it
didn't look like
ground.
There were mattresses there.
There were, I think,
like
below
actually,
the
like,
frame,
broke his
but
neck.
Yeah, they almost died just doing that.
Which I think is like, I mean, it's really dangerous, but it does make the movie better, because that's like a real thing that happens.
This is something I struggle with as well, especially when it comes to like. Oh, actually, let me let my cat out now.
Hey, bud.
All right. Someone I love, Jackie Chan. That's great. the Police Story movies.
Like Police Story when
Right.
he like severely burnt himself going down the like with all the lights and stuff. That's like one of the coolest things ever. But it's like, oh, it did almost like kill him.
There's
too.
like that's just one. There's like a few, like when he's hanging off the like side of the bus and stuff. Like there were times where he like and Police Story.
Isn't there one where he basically got like a hole in his head because he fell like from like off a wall, or he was trying to jump from a wall to a tree or something, and it like
I don't remember
it almost
which one
killed
that
him.
was.
That might not have been Police Story, but I mean, yeah, it's bad because it's like you don't want the guy to get hurt or die, but
it looks amazing.
So
yeah, no,
good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the landing on the light scene, he definitely hurt. Like, they show it in the famous blooper reels as well.
Yes.
I know that also Police Story 3 Super Cop almost killed Michelle Yeoh. There was a stunt that, like, went wrong and that she's lucky that she didn't die.
Right. Was that the motorcycle stunt
I think
or
so. It was like
something?
the motorcycle onto the top of the, like, bus or I think. Yeah. Also, really cool though. So, like, yeah, it's not safe, but hey, but now we have it forever. We know better now that it's not safe.
Yes.
But we can still watch. And there's a lot of that in these sort of spaghetti westerns, which I think, but the thing I really want to talk about with Tuco, Rumble in the Bronx. That's right. No, I know, because Rumble in the Bronx was actually my first Jackie Chan movie, and I love Rumble in the Bronx. And yeah. When he is like the big hovercraft thing at the end, and he's like basically skiing, water skiing off the back of it. He's using his cast as one of the water skis. Like you can actually see that there's like a huge cast around his foot.
Filmed in Vancouver, by the way, because I know there's scenes where you see them like on the rooftop.
Right.
And there's like a huge mountain.
It looks
range
nothing
behind
like
them.
the Bronx. Yes, the whole time. It's very obviously Canada. And yes, thank you, Spanker Prime, Amelia. Thank you for calling out the Oscars for stunts that are going to start in 2027. That's really, really cool. Unfortunately,
the argument against that was that if they're going to give out an Oscar for it, people are going to do crazier and crazier stunts, and they're going to get more dangerous.
That's
which
really
is like,
funny.
Yeah, but like I do want to see that also. So
what sucks about it is that they're starting it next year, so your Mission Impossible isn't going to be eligible. So it means that Tom Cruise is going to have to find one more project to almost kill himself on.
But it's the final reckoning.
I know. So he's gonna have to start a new franchise or something. I don't know.
Oh, I would hate that.
All right. Well, so Eli Wallach, though, in this movie, we have to talk about it, is playing Tuco, who's a Mexican character, and Eli Wallach is just a Jewish American guy. Who is in brownface and is doing a not great accent, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful performance. You have to say those things, but it's a great character. It is such a funny character. And that's
really
like,
good.
those qualities of it, like I want to call them out, is very ignorant, is very of the time, right? Like to do that. And his being, like him speaking like that and stuff, I think maybe part of the reason that it bothers me less than some other things is that, like, it's not a huge part of his character. It's not like, and they aren't making fun of him for being like Mexican or anything like that necessarily. They're making fun of because he's like a nutcase, like, and
he's
crazy.
just insane.
Yeah. He's the ugly, and that's what I think is the difference between the ugly and the bad. And to me, it's really that, like, he is just loose cannon. Like, he is impetuous or like just gonna do his own thing, versus the bad of Lee Van Cleef, who's like very calculating and very
he's not like Tuco's not like a good guy, obviously, because like you see him in the very first scene, right? And he is wanted for a lot of these crimes too.
And some of those crimes aren't great, but also I just like to think that those are just, he's accused, and that's not necessarily, or that they're like, because there's some stuff that's like, one of the crimes he's charged with is like interracial relations, kind of like And so there's some stuff in here where I'm like, I am going with the headcanon to help me enjoy Tuco more, that a lot of these charges are trumped up and like not real, and it's just about him being a general menace. Like, that's how I kind of get a little bit more okay with Tuco personally.
I think that's maybe the way to look at it. Yeah. But he's a really interesting character.
That's right. Very good point. Spring Break My Heart, that some of these crimes are faked, and like they're letting that happen so that the bounty can be higher that they collect.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
So they do kind of exaggerate him, but at the same time, he is a bad guy. I mean, he is just the way that This is the really interesting thing is that at different points throughout the movie, each of them is like the one with the most power, like the one that's kind of calling the shots. And I think it's really interesting how differently they all like behave with that. And I think that like Tuco is the best example because, you know, he like tortures Blondie after they had been like, because there's a whole back and forth. Obviously, he's doing revenge for Clint Eastwood sort of abandoning him or whatever. But as a consequence of that, and as a consequence of him, you know, only caring about how do I get more money or whatever, he doesn't help this. He doesn't have water. He doesn't help Clint Eastwood at a better time until he has this piece of this puzzle of where this treasure lies or whatever. And that sort of is the thrust for like, that happens around like an hour in or so. And that's like the rest of the movie is about how do we get to that treasure. And I think it's also interesting that it takes so long for that central sort of thing to happen. But I've been enjoying my time with the characters up until then. And then it's like, so great. This is what they're going to go do now.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was, the pacing is not like bad by any means. It's just like a different way of doing it.
It lets you really live with the characters at first and like, see how they operate. Yeah.
Just like leading up to like obviously all the stuff in the cemetery is like incredible. But like the scene I keep going back to, I watched it a couple times, is kind of the introduction of Angel Eyes when he goes to that like little family homestead.
Right.
And just like kills everyone and like terrorizes them. It's like such a good scene. And there's the one shot of him leaving where there's like the dad is dead and the son is dead, and then you see him like walking through the door in the distance, and it's just like, fuck, that just looks so good.
Yeah, they're just like incredible. Dead on the floor behind him. And it's that remorselessness kind of thing, whereas you get the sense from like when Tuco is violent and Tuco kills people, like he's like in a passion and he's in a rage, and it's like there's something so much more like evil and bad about just being able to just coolly just like bang, you know, and that's definitely...
Well, because then he goes back to the old man on in the bed and is like, well, he paid me $1,000 to kill you, so I am going to kill you.
He just like he's a just fully mercenary and just ready to work for whoever. Then all of a sudden he's a like a sergeant or whatever for that's when they're on the Confederacy side, right? I believe at that point.
Well,
or no, is he on the Union side?
No, it's the Union side because Tuco sees them all and then starts saying
pro-Confederate that's
stuff.
right. But they're just
they're
dusty.
Like, we're the Union. Like, what are you doing?
No, that's a really funny part because he sees that like these armies like that or this platoon of soldiers coming at him they look all gray. So he's like, oh,
but they're just covered in like
the Confederacy.
It's because they were the prisoners, I guess, right?
And they just like get covered in dust or something. And so like they come closer to them, they're like all gray, and then they're like, oh shit. Yeah, that is a really funny part. But like he's assumed someone's identity, it kind of seems, to be able to be in that position. Like, I don't know. It's it's a really, really just cool collection of three guys.
The movie's about, a lot of the movie is about like pretending to be someone else, right?
Right.
Because like you have Bill Carson, who's the guy who like knows where the treasure is buried.
Right.
And
that's not even his real name.
That's a fake name. And then Tuco
starts saying he's Bill Carson.
Saying he's Bill Carson. And then I mean, it's just like, I don't know, it's very meticulous.
No, it's like, so this name kind of gets passed around. And it's like it's these three parallel sort of like stories and how these guys kind of go, and it's what drives Lee Van Cleef as Angel Eyes, the bad one, seems to really like, I mean, they're all kind of just looking to get rich, right? And this is where I think it's an interesting contrast with the Civil War part of this, is that, like, to me, the running, through line with the Civil War and how they keep kind of finding themselves, like, involved in it, or just, like, coming up to a platoon or a battle or something.
Yeah.
It's just about that, like, endless senselessness of war, just like that it's just, like, these guys, what war, like, makes men do, and just, like, they become sort of, like, tools. And the thing I really like is after they blow up the bridge at the end, and then there's just, like, this like endless. It's like almost 2 minutes of just shots of cannons firing close up.
Yeah.
It's just like back and forth. Some cannons facing this way, some cannons facing this way, and that's like it's incessant. You're like beaten over the head with it, and you compare that to all the sort of like man-to-man gunplay sort of violence that you've seen up until this point, or even just like the fist violence, and like that there's such like that's so much more romanticized when we like get to like Clint Eastwood with his gun versus like what that sort of mindset to like a huge scale, because Civil War is also all about money basically, because like their economy needs human misery to continue or whatever, and that's why they feel the need to save it or whatever, and so it's just that when that sort of same driving force gets like blown up to such a huge scale, like how senseless that becomes. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I mean, it's just like let me see what else I wrote down. I wrote some notes on my phone here.
Well, and I think another thing
I wrote down that I like Tuco's umbrella.
I was just going to talk about the umbrella.
when he's taking Blondie through the desert.
Yes.
And the makeup on Clint Eastwood when he's like
yeah.
all dry and desiccated is like so it's disgusting. It looks really
he
good,
really
though,
looks fucked up. They really make him look like dried out. Like, but yeah, he has this really frilly pink umbrella, and so now he is sort of the one calling the shots, and he has the gun. He has Clint Eastwood at his mercy, which is a reversal from how things had been. And then he just kind of is this little lordling with a frilly pink umbrella. It's just like
it was really funny. And there's another Tuco line when he like ambushes Blondie and tries to hang him. And I wrote it down. Now make sure the rope is tight. It's got to hold the weight of a pig. I thought that was really, really good. Because you can tell he's having such a good time. Like turning things around on.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the reason that for me, it's always Eli Wallach is the one that I like the best in this movie, because he's having a great time. Like he is the guy is just enjoying every moment. And you get, even when he's like losing and sputtering, you get the sense that the actor's loving that the most, like getting to be like on the losing end. It's an amazing performance. I really, really, really love Tuco a lot. But also, I mean, we need to talk about Clint a little bit more, and I need to just be completely honest here about Clint Eastwood in this movie.
Yeah.
Is that he's extremely fucking hot in this movie. Like he's
he looks
hot.
Great. It's weird. I was thinking this too. It's like, because when I think of Clint Eastwood now, it's like you think of him as like a 90-year-old.
And he's been old for so long.
He's been old for because he was what? He'd be like in his like mid to late 30s here probably. This is 1966.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so he'd be late 30s or whatever. I mean, he looks great. He looks incredible. And I mean, I guess this is kind of the whole character, but it's funny how few lines he has. Like he doesn't talk at all. And I assume he's like that in the other two movies in the trilogy too.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of talks a little bit. I think he might talk a little more in the other two, I think. But which is sort of what makes this such an interesting one for me, that he is like so now sure of the persona that he has to do very little. It's a very like small performance, but like those little like eyebrow flicks, or the way that he smokes his cigar and like chews on his cigar and stuff, like it's a great iconic performance. I mean, he really like created, and again, Quentin Tarantino was sort of saying this, but he created a new mold from like the sort of John Wayne school of the Western hero versus how you can make a Western hero be kind of a baddie, but also like you can still root for him. And that sort of outlaw hero in a sort of and like you said about how it like felt kind of modern at times, I think it really pushed it into like a more modern context of the late 60s, which is it probably put some like life support into the Western genre, because like that would have been really falling out of favor, but the combination of it being like having a European sensibility or whatnot, it like, and then this is even before, like there's some really great later spaghetti westerns with Klaus Kinski that are really awesome. And but something that is interesting, and I think somebody brought it up earlier in the chat, is when you do have sort of stories that like take place more in Mexico with these spaghetti westerns, you'll see a lot of like obviously Greek or more pigmented Italian people. But that's a little better than, you know, putting a coat of brown paint on Eli Wallach.
So. Yeah.
A little bit.
When this came out, was it like, because I mean, I think spaghetti westerns were kind of looked down on a little bit too, right? So like, did this still get like pretty good reviews when it came out, or was it like one of those ones where...
I think it wasn't taken very seriously at the time, but it quickly developed. I think that, I was watching a longer interview with Quentin Tarantino where he was sort of explaining this, that when the trilogy completed, what you had happening then was... because I think they were cheap spaghetti westerns, like for like if you owned a theater, and there were a lot more theaters back then, and so you would have all that 3 trilogy, and then you would do double features, and then you would just mix and match which 2 of those 3, and you would just always run that, and then people would always come see it. As I think sort of like it lived on like that way, but like critically, no, I don't think it was taken very seriously.
And now it's thought of as like one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Rightfully so, yeah.
And it's just like there's... Yeah, it's a great film. I mean, really good point. Really good podcasting streaming by me just then. It's a great film, and I just bumped
it is.
My desk and
it really is. I loved it. Yeah, it was great, and because like it doesn't. It's almost, you know, it's almost 3 hours, and it doesn't seem that way.
It really doesn't. I mean, I tried to actually watch it after the Golf King stream the other night, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and I almost watched it all in one sitting, but I was like, oh god, it's actually going to be like well over 2 a.m. and I have to work tomorrow by the time this is done. So I saved like the last hour, 45 minutes, and I watched those the next night. And yeah, it's like... it's a great one to just put on because it, like you say, it looks amazing, sounds amazing. You don't necessarily, you get the story well enough, and you can kind of pick up where you're at and just sort of have it on. These great performances, so visual. I really love just visual storytelling of like the actions being so well staged and big that they tell the story all on their own without people needing to tell you what's happening. That's one of my favorite things as well, and that's what this very excellent film does really well. I would definitely recommend people see it. Now here's a question for you, Stefan.
Yeah.
Is it a Jesse movie?
It's weird because like I've been doing the stream with him for since 2017, like 8 years now, and like I feel like I'm still so bad at guessing whether or not he'll enjoy something.
The length does give me pause a bit.
That's the thing I sort of worry about. But again, this is something you could watch Greg style.
For sure, it breaks up.
You could split this up. And so I think he would like it because it looks so good. The story is so compelling. The acting is great. The music is great. The action is great. Like, it's just such a fun movie.
It has all the classic stuff you want out of a Western, like a guy getting shot on the second story or on the roof of a building and falling off of it. You need that. You need that in a Western, and that's definitely here.
So I think he would like it. Yeah. I'll say he would like it.
Yeah. I mean, this is like always... So now just sort of like thinking, like strategizing about this show and the movies I want to watch on it and like what this show is going to be is... This is a thing I struggle with, is how to get people, not necessarily get people, this is not on me to do, but what would make people, even more people, want to explore like the classic older films? Like, I'm wondering if that's going to become even more in vogue at a certain point, as Hollywood dries up even more. I think Letterboxd has sort of spurred a lot of this. But what do you think? Is that like... how do we get people to do their homework? I
think it's just like, and this is sort of unfortunate, I think, because there are good movies being put out today, obviously.
Right, yeah, it's not like there's nothing
out there. But there is so much shit out there, and I think there's so much of it that it will like push people into looking at old movies and looking at really good movies and classics and be like, why can't we have movies like this? So I think it's like twofold, where it's like bad that a lot of movies out now in like the mainstream and in theaters are not very good or very interesting. But I think on the other hand, that will push people to look at the classic movies, and maybe it'll make them want to push for better movies now.
Or maybe make their own and being more. I mean, because
yeah,
you listen to directors like the great directors of now, like even the young ones, like they watched all this classic stuff. Like they're talking about all the whatever and Hitchcock and all that kind of stuff. But it's the same thing with like foreign cinema and stuff too. That's a different problem. Is like everyone wants to be on their phone when they're watching when they're watching the thing, and so I run into this with my lovely wife, who joins me on so many of these movies, and she has been greatly supportive. But sometimes I'm like, do you want to watch like this Kora Ada movie or something, like this Japanese movie? And she's like, I kind of wanted to like play on my Steam Deck. Can we like watch a movie in English? Okay, fine. Like, because that's just how it is sometimes. But like, what I love about film is that you can just pull any thread, like the thread of the genre, the thread of the director, or the country, the region, like the actors, like and again, Letterboxd is really great for this because you see sort of what they've done, and it like the default is to sort by like most popular, sort of like what the most people have seen, and I like to be like, oh, okay, and I find whole new avenues all the time, and it's really great. I mean, the biggest thing I'll say, if people want to also get movie pilled, is a Criterion channel. 100%. Yeah,
there's so much good stuff on there, and they put out all these new collections. I think they just put out like the Michael Mann collection recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, I watched Ali for the first time. I hadn't seen that. Was like the only Michael Mann movie I hadn't seen was Ali.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Pretty good.
I have not seen that either, but
I actually liked it. Yeah. Who was surprisingly really good in that, and then I found out he was actually nominated for an Academy Award, is Jon Voight as Howard Cosell.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
It was surprising. I was like, it's an okay Howard Cosell, and it's a neat take on the character because Muhammad Ali and Howard Cosell had a kind of fun relationship.
Yeah. It's hard to think of Jon Voight as like an actor now, given what like a psycho he is. But
I know. Well, this is I like to separate art from artist whenever possible. I think there are some where it just becomes difficult. Like I have a really hard time now watching any Woody Allen. Like there's a
for sure.
There's on Criterion channel they have a Penelope Cruz collection this month that has the movie she won an Oscar for, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, which I've never seen. But it's a Woody Allen movie, so I'm really struggling to watch it.
Yeah.
But I did see Open Your Eyes, the movie that Vanilla Sky is based on for the first time, and Voltaire, and they were both really good.
Cool.
Yeah, The Cosby Show, Spring Break My Heart, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's so many good movies out there if you know where to look, so.
It's all good on the Criterion channel, and also on Plex, which is, of course, as I say on the show, what I call my local multiplex, where I go to legally watch movies. I call it Plex.
Yes.
But that's also, especially now that stuff's gonna, like, these services get more and more expensive and also shittier. That's only going to get more popular, and I would hope that people go beyond, because this is the other thing, is people be like, and this is another part of Letterboxd culture and what people call film Twitter or whatever, is that these are people that think that the entirety of film history happened in the past 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like, there have been a lot of great films these past 15 years, but it's if you want to cling on to an era of film, I think that you could only do worse if you went to like the 2000s. Like if you went 2000 to 2010, I think that might be the darkest period for like great movies. There were some, but there was also,
it's pretty rough.
We were processing 9/11. We were going through a lot. I don't watch anything made before 2000s. Is Sarah Song. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, oh, it starts with a 1. The year starts with a 19. Ew. Yeah, but I find like 1980, I feel, is like beyond earlier than that. And then it's like each decade prior to that, it's like a little bit harder to be like, you want me to watch a movie from like 1948 or something? I'm like, oh, it's fucking Double Indemnity. It's like the best movie ever. But
yeah, this was 66, I think. And I was thinking, this fucked me up, but I was like, because I was born in 89, so that was 20. This was 23 years before I was born,
right?
And it seems
so that would be a movie from 2002.
2002, yeah.
Daredevil.
I have to stop thinking that way now because like
what movies came out in 2002? I'm trying to think. Like, I guess Two Towers. That's a good one.
Daredevil was one of my worst theater going experiences because I went for a friend's birthday party and I had like an insane fever. And just got out of the movie and like puked for like 2 hours and was just like hallucinating.
The movie
time.
did,
and also
not
the movie
heal
is not
you.
good.
Yeah,
so.
No, for sure not. Yeah. There's something like Star Wars that a lot of youngish people must have watched, but then the modern version is the one with McClunky.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the other thing. This is the thing that worries me most is that, these youths. They just want to watch their YouTubes and their TikToks and their Twitches.
That's right.
Those
I love watching YouTube.
Streamers.
Don't get me wrong.
Right, but it's like it's hard enough to get them to like watch a TV show, let alone a movie. I just feel like movies are somehow the ones that are falling out of vogue.
It's a big ask, apparently. Yeah.
And this is always a hot take that I say, but movie is the ultimate. Like it's not even close with TV. Like I don't want to hate on people liking TV. I mean, there's TV shows I still like too and stuff like that, but like. A TV show is somebody's work, ultimately. Like, it's somebody's job that they want to keep going. Like, it's a whole different, calculus, I guess. And or even if it's, like, the most artistically sound thing that everybody is, top of their form, really great into it. And, like, it's still a storytelling that's like, okay, well, we're going to do X episodes. We're going to do 10 episodes.
Yeah.
We need to parcel out the story like this. It's like, it's a whole different beast. Whereas a movie is a complete thing that was made end to end, beginning to end, usually not trying to make a sequel, usually not trying to, it's just trying to make that one little package that you can then forever have to just watch. And nothing tops that for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, there's so much good TV out there. But like I've enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed The Pit. Because it's like not trying to, it doesn't feel like a movie that was split up into 10 episodes or whatever, right? It's like, it's a 15 episode season of TV and it knows it.
Yeah, so. I agree that if there is a movie that, a show that is trying to be a show, like those are the shows I like, or like the TV show I like most is Shark Tank, because it's always Shark Tank and it's not a movie. It's, it's that format.
Yeah.
Stupid competition shows. Well, Stefan, I think that's just about all that I've got for now. Do you have anything else to cover with movies or anything that you haven't gotten to say yet?
I think I've covered it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on. Oh,
absolutely. Thank you so much for doing it. Movies are good, and this was certainly one of them. I think that every movie I've covered on this show so far, maybe not so much the Screwballs, though I still love them. If somebody said this is not just my favorite movie, but I think the best movie ever made, I think you can make that case for like all of these. Last week we did The Red Shoes, we did My Dinner with Andre, we did Ikiru, the Akira Kurosawa movie about dying. This is perfectly fits right up there with them. And then next week we have from 2007 Michael Clayton. So everybody, thank you for watching the Good Movie Chat About. So we're live most weeks at Saturdays at 3, except for this week, which we will be on at Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, so that those are dad hours for getting Jesse on here. It's going to be awesome. So special time. But I am still going to stream at this time next weekend as well. So just to hang out. So feel free to come for that. So please... Thanks for all the follows today. I really appreciate it. Come back again. And until next time, I will see you at the movies. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Oh crap. Okay.
Well, that was great. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you. About to rate Luke.
I'm
Enjoy
just
Luke,
gonna-
everybody. Sorry, I'm actually rating.
Oh, it's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Shit.